Hello students, welcome to Learner's Planet. So this is our first problem solving session for the topic atoms and molecules. In this session, we'll be solving questions, or you can say the numericals related to mole concept and also the writing of chemical formulae of compounds. So let's start our session here, students. The question here is, if 1 mole of carbon atoms weigh 12 gram, what is the mass in gram of 1 atom of carbon? Now we know that 1 mole of carbon atoms means how many number of carbon atoms are there? 6.023 into 10 to the power 23. You can take 6.022 also, right? It means the weight of 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms of carbon is 12 grams. So what will be the weight of 1 atom of carbon? Now can you find out? It's a very simple question. 1 mole of carbon atoms, that is 1 mole of any substance, has how many particles? 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. Now in this case 10 to the power 23 carbon atoms, right? So 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 carbon atoms is equal to, or what is the weight of it? The gram atomic weight, that is equal to 12. So what will be the weight of 1 carbon atom? It will be equal to 12 divided by 6.022 into 10 to the power 23, right? Can you divide this? Just divide it and you'll get your answer. It comes out to be, you can say approximately 2, it will be there, 1.99 into 10 to the power 23, it will be minus 23 grams, right? So students, just don't listen this session. It's a problem solving session. Once I'm reading the problem, pause the session, try to solve it of your own and then check it with mine, right? Now let's take up our next question. There's one more question. Give the names of elements present in. The first is quicklime, hydrogen bromide, baking powder and potassium sulfate. Now what is quicklime? Quicklime is calcium oxide, right? So calcium oxide. So what all are the elements present? Calcium and oxygen. Now what will be the formula? How will you write the formula? Write the symbols first. Oxygen. Write the valencies. Valency of calcium is 2. Valency of oxygen is again 2. Now cross place the valencies or cross over the valencies and you'll get the formula as CaO. Now if I'm asking what are the elements present in slaked lime? Slaked lime. Do you know what is it? Slaked lime is calcium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide. What will be the formula? Calcium, symbol is Ca. Hydroxide ion, it is OH. What will be the charges? +2 and -2. Now cross place their valencies. The valency of the ions and the charges, the charge on hydroxyl ion is -1, not -2. It's -1, I'm sorry. The formula would be CaOH twice. So this is calcium hydroxide. What are the elements present in lime or marble or chalk? It is, the compound is calcium carbonate, right? Now carbonate is again an anionic radical. Write the symbols Ca, CO3 2 minus, right? The charges on this is +2, this is -2, cross placement of the charges, and you'll get CaCO3. So these are the compounds of calcium. The next one here is hydrogen bromide. So what are the elements present? One is hydrogen and Br, that is bromine. The more electronegative, the name of the more electronegative element ends with ide. What will be the formula? The symbol of hydrogen is H. The symbol of bromine is Br. What are the valencies? 1 is of hydrogen as it belongs to group 1. 1 is of bromine, though it belongs to group 7. So what is the valency? 8 minus the number of valence electrons or the group number. Just cross over the valencies. So what will be the formula of hydrogen bromide? It will be HBr. Right? Now there is baking powder. What is baking powder? Baking powder is sodium bicarbonate, that is NaHCO3. Remember this formula. This is baking powder. NaHCO3. What all are the elements present? Na sodium, H hydrogen, C carbon and O oxygen. Then is potassium sulfate. So what will be the formula of potassium, or what will be the formula of this compound? Potassium is K. Sulfate. Sulfate is an anionic radical. It is SO4 2 minus. Right? What are the charges? +1 on potassium and -2 on sulfate. Cross over the valencies present or valencies of these ions. You'll be getting K2SO4. Right? So what all are the elements? Potassium, sulfur and oxygen. Is this question clear? I hope this is clear to you. Now let's take up our next question. The question is, what is the mass of 0.2 mole of oxygen atoms and 0.5 mole of water molecules? Now, 1 mole of oxygen atoms, what is the mass? It is equal to the gram atomic mass of 1 mole of oxygen, or 1 mole of oxygen is equal to its gram atomic mass. That is how much? 16 grams. Right? So what is the mass of 0.2 mole of oxygen atoms? 0.2 mole will be equal to 16 divided by 1 multiplied by 0.2. Right? So what will be the answer? 3.2. So it is 3.2 grams. What is the mass of 0.5 mole of water molecules? So 1 mole of water molecule, what will be the mass? The gram atomic mass of 1 mole of water molecule, it will be 18. How? Water molecule, the formula is H2O. So the gram molecular mass will be 18. So 0.5 mole, the gram atomic mass will be equal to just half of it, that is 9. Right? So this is the way we can solve this problem. Our next question is, calculate the mass of 0.5 mole of nitrogen gas. Atomic mass of nitrogen is 14 units. Calculate calculate the mass of 3.011 into 10 to the power 23 atoms of nitrogen. Right? Now we know that 1 mole of atoms is equal to what? Is equal to the gram atomic mass. That is, mass of 1 mole of atom is equal to the gram atomic mass. Now 1 mole of nitrogen gas it is asking. So 1 mole of N2. In the nitrogen gas there is N2 molecule. So 1 mole of N2 will be equal to the gram molecular mass of N2. Now the gram molecular mass of N2 will be equal to 2 into gram atomic mass of nitrogen. Now that is given as 14. So the gram molecular mass of N2 will be equal to how much? It will be 28 grams, right? Now 1 mole of N2 gas, the mass is 28 grams. So 0.5 mole of N2 gas will be how many grams? Just half of it, that is 14 grams. Right? Now you are also asked to find out the mass of 3.011 into 10 to the power 23 atoms of nitrogen. Now we know that 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms of nitrogen will have how much mass? The gram atomic mass. See, 1 mole of nitrogen will contain 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms. So its gram atomic mass. The gram atomic mass of nitrogen is 14. So 3.011 into 10 to the power 23 atoms will have how much mass? Or what you can do is just find out the number of moles first. Now here let's find out this first. 14 divided by 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 into 3.011 into 10 to the power 23. So it will be approximately half of it. So 3.011 into 10 to the power 23 atoms will have the mass of 7 grams. You can just find out the number of moles from the number of atoms also. See, this 6.022, let's take up here. 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms make how many moles? 1 mole. Right? So 3.011 into 10 to the power 23 atoms will make how many moles? 1 by 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 multiplied by 3.011 into 10 to the power 23. So this will approximately come out to be 1 by 2, or you can say 0.5. Right? So 1 mole of nitrogen atoms weigh how much? The gram atomic mass of nitrogen atoms, it is 14 grams. So 0.5 mole of nitrogen atoms will weigh 7 grams. So you can calculate this, or you can find out the answer to this question by any of the methods. It's better you first change it into number of moles. Let's take up this question. Calculate the number of aluminium ions in, or it should be atoms. So it is 0.051 grams of Al2O3. That is, calculate the number of aluminium atoms in 0.051 gram of Al2O3. Atomic mass of aluminium is 27 units. Now first of all, let's find out that 0.051 grams makes how many moles of Al2O3. Right? For that, let's first find out the gram molecular mass of aluminum oxide. So what will be the gram molecular mass of aluminum oxide? The atomic mass of aluminum is 2 here. It's 27. 27 into 2 plus 16 into 3. So it is 54 plus 48, and this will give somewhere 102 grams. Right? Now 102 grams makes how much? 1 mole of Al2O3. So 0.051 gram of aluminum oxide will be equal to how many moles of aluminum oxide? 1 by 102 into 0.051. So that will be equal to how many moles? So the number of moles is 0.0005 moles. If you'll calculate this, you'll get this moles. Now 1 mole of aluminum oxide contains how many atoms of aluminum? 2 into 6.02 2 into 10 to the power 23 atoms, right? 1 mole of a substance. So 0.0005 moles of Al2O3 will contain how many atoms? Of aluminium, 2 into 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 divided by how much? 0.0005, right? Calculate this and you'll get your answer. So what will be the answer here? So it is coming out to be 2.4 into 10 to the power 27 atoms, right? So this is the way we can calculate the number of atoms. Say if it's number of oxygen, then also 1 mole of Al2O3 contains 3 into 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms of oxygen. So 0.005 mole of Al2O3 will contain how many moles of oxygen? How many molecules or atoms of oxygen, right? It's not moles, it's the number of molecules. Now let's take up our next question. The next question is, write the names of the following compounds. The first is HGS. So what will be the name of this compound? HGS. This is mercury. Now what is the valency of mercury here? Let's write the symbols. Mercury can exhibit the valency 1 as well as 2. Now if here, what is the valency of sulfur? The valency of sulfur is 2. How come? As it has got 6 valence electrons. So, or it belongs to group 6. So it can be 8 minus 6. What is the valency equal to? Either the group number or the number of valence electrons, or 8 minus the number of valence electrons. Now in this case, mercury, if its valency 1, if the valency of mercury is 1, what will be the formula? Just cross over the valencies and you'll be getting Hg2s. But what is the formula? HGS. It means the valency of mercury here is 2 and sulfur here is 2. Cross over the valencies and the formula will be HGS. Now mercury is in a higher valency state. The valency of mercury in this compound is higher. So what will be the name of this compound? It will be mercuric sulfide, right? Had it been Hg2s, the name of this compound is mercurous sulfide, right? Now second, the more thing which is important here is the more electronegative element is the name of the more electronegative element ends with ide. Now next is MgNO3 twice. So Mg is for magnesium and NO3 is for nitrate. So magnesium nitrate, right? Then the next compound is K2SO4. It is, what is the name of this compound? K is the symbol of potassium and SO4 is a symbol of sulfate, right? Likewise BaSO4, Ba is the symbol of barium and SO4 is a symbol of sulfate. Fine. So the questions like this also you can get. Remember one thing, copper, mercury, they exhibit, and ferric, that is iron, they exhibit variable valency. So for naming such compounds, you have to first find out the valency state of it. What is the valency? Say if I am writing FeCl2 and FeCl3. So which is exhibiting a higher valency? Of course FeCl3. So FeCl3 will be named as ferric chloride and FeCl2 will be named as ferrous chloride. So in the case of copper, iron, you have to keep this thing in mind, the valency of that particular element, right? Now let's take up our next question. This is our next question. Calculate the molecular mass of C6H12O6. What is C6H12O6? It's glucose. Now let's calculate its mass. This is C6H12O6, right? How will you calculate the molecular mass? Atomic mass of carbon is 12 units multiplied by how many atoms of carbon are there in the glucose molecule? 6. Plus atomic mass of hydrogen is 1 unit. How many atoms of hydrogen are there? 12. Plus atomic mass of oxygen is 16 units, and how many atoms of oxygen are there in this? Glucose? 6. Now let's find out. This is 72 plus 12 plus 96, right? Just sum it up. 6 2 8 2 10 1. 9 plus 2 is 11 plus 7, it's 180. So what will be the molecular mass? This will be the relative molecular mass, because the atomic mass is the relative atomic mass and not the gram atomic mass. So it is 180 units. Likewise, you can also find out the molecular formula, or the molecular mass of C12H22O11. It should be 11 over here. That is sucrose molecule. Simply 12 into 12 plus mass of hydrogen is 1 into 22 plus mass of oxygen is how much? 16 into 11. Just calculate the students. The mass of the sucrose molecule will be equal to 342 units, right? If the gram atomic mass of atoms is given, then the molecular mass will be the gram molecular mass. Now let's move to our next question. Our question is, calculate the mass of 0.4 mole of carbon dioxide. Now for this, the first question, 0.4 mole of carbon dioxide. Now we know that 1 mole is equal to what? Gram atomic mass or gram molecular mass. If I am saying 1 mole of CO2 molecule, this will be equal to the gram molecular mass of what? Of carbon dioxide. So what will be the gram molecular mass of carbon dioxide? CO2. So the gram atomic mass of carbon is 12 plus gram atomic mass of oxygen is 16 into 2. Now this gives 12 plus 32, and what we are getting here is 44. Now 1 mole of CO2, the mass is equal to 44 grams. That is the gram molecular mass. Remember this. So 0.44 mole of CO2, the gram molecular mass will be equal to 44 divided by 1 into 0.4. You can calculate it. So what will be the mass of 0.4 mole of carbon dioxide? It comes out to be 17.6 grams. This is what? Gram molecular mass. Likewise, it's asking 2 moles of ammonia. First of all, find out the gram molecular mass of ammonia quickly in your paper. What will be the answer? First of all, you'll have to find out the gram molecular mass of 1 mole of ammonia. So how will you find? This will be 14 plus 3 into 1, and this will give you 17. So it's so simple. 1 mole, the mass is 17 grams, that is gram molecular mass. So 2 moles, the gram molecular mass will be 34 grams. I hope you can do this. Now 5.16 moles of HiO3. For this, simply what you'll do, find out the gram molecular mass of 1 mole of HiO3. So it would be 1 plus I. Iodine mass is 127. We are finding out the gram molecular mass, so we are taking the gram atomic weight equivalence here, or gram atomic mass equivalence here. What is gram atomic mass? It is the amount of substance whose weight is equal to the atomic mass of that substance, or the amount of a particular element whose atomic or whose mass in grams is equivalent to its atomic mass, right? Plus 48. Its 16 threes are 48. Now just find it out. 49 plus 127. What will be the answer? It will be 176. So 1 mole of HiO3 weighs 176 grams. This is, remember, gram molecular mass, right? The amount of substance whose weight is equal to the molecular mass of that substance, and molecular mass is a relative entity. So 1 mole weighs 176 grams, therefore 5.16 moles will weigh how many grams? Just multiply that number and you'll get your answer. It comes out to be 908.16. It is simple mathematical application. That is it. That's it. We are doing plus minus multiplication for long. Now you have to just apply it here. Now let's take our next question. Again, the same pattern of question is here. What is the mass of 1 mole of nitrogen atoms? 1 mole of nitrogen atoms is equal to what? Gram atomic mass of nitrogen. What is gram atomic mass of nitrogen? It is the amount of nitrogen whose mass in grams is equal to its atomic mass, the numerical component. Mass in grams is numerically equal to its atomic mass. So 1 mole of nitrogen atoms, what will be the mass? Simple, 14 grams. Right? Now simply 4 moles of aluminium atoms. 1 mole, the gram atomic mass is 27. So 4 moles, it will be 27 into 4, 108, right? Sodium has how many electrons? 11 electrons, 11 protons. Now atomic mass is due to the mass of protons and neutrons. Remember that, right? So atomic mass is the sum of mass of protons and the neutrons. So electrons has nothing to do with it. Electrons, actually the mass is negligible, right? The mass of electron is 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. So its mass is neglected. Now in case of sodium ion, again the gram atomic mass, the gram mass of this sodium ion will be equivalent to 23 grams. So 1 mole of sodium ion weigh how many grams? 23 grams, right? Remember that, students. Ion is formed by the removal of an electron. Electron has got a negligible mass, right? Moreover, atomic mass is equal to the sum of the mass of protons and neutrons. The mass of electrons is neglected because it has got very less mass. Now what is the question? How many moles is asked? So 1.50 mole of sodium ion will be equal to 23 multiplied by 1.50. So what will be the answer? It would be 34.5 grams. Right? That is how you can find out the masses. Likewise, you can find the mass of 10 moles of sodium sulfide also. First of all, find out the mass of 1 mole of sodium sulfide and then the 10 moles. Okay, just calculate it. The gram molecular mass of Na2SO3 comes out to be 126. So 1 mole of sodium sulfide weighs 126 grams. 10 moles of sodium sulfide will weigh into 10. That is equal to 1260 grams. Right? The mass of 10 moles of Na2SO3 will be 1260 grams. So students, I hope you can do these type of questions now. You have to simply sum up the masses. Do remember one thing, 1 mole of an atom or molecule, say I'm taking 1 mole of atom of an element, is equivalent to, or the mass of 1 mole of atom of element is equal to its gram atomic mass. Gram atomic mass is the amount of that element whose mass in grams is numerically equal to its atomic mass. Likewise, 1 mole of a substance or a compound has the mass equal to its gram molecular mass. What is gram molecular mass? It is the amount of that substance whose mass in grams is numerically equal to its molecular mass. Molecular mass is obtained by summing up the atomic masses of elements present in that molecule. Molecular mass is a relative entity, so it is written as in units, right? Now I'll be concluding this session, students, and in our next problem solving session, we'll be solving questions related to valencies. Thank you, students, for listening patiently, and do have a nice time ahead.